In the dim glow of a rainy evening, Dr. Elias Thornwood, the once mighty tech mogul whose empire spanned continents, sat in his opulent penthouse overlooking the sprawling city lights. Paralyzed from the waist down after a tragic skiing accident 5 years ago, he had everything money could buy, except the ability to stand on his own 2 feet. Doctors from around the world had poked and prodded him, promising miracles that never came. Now, at 52, Elias had resigned himself to a life of bitter isolation, his laughter a hollow echo in empty rooms. But on this night, a desperate knock at his door would change everything. A young man, drenched and shivering, stood there with eyes full of fire. "Save my sister," he pleaded, "and I'll make you walk again." Elias laughed, a cruel, disbelieving bark that filled the hallway. Until the unlikely happened. Hey everyone, before we dive deeper into this heart-wrenching tale of hope, redemption, and the power of human connection, if you're feeling that pull in your chest already, hit that like button. It really helps spread these inspiring stories. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. We drop emotional journeys like this every week to remind you that miracles can happen when least expected. All right, let's get into it. The young man's name was Marcus Hale, a 28-year-old mechanic from the rundown outskirts of the city where rusting factories whispered tales of forgotten dreams. Marcus had grown up in the shadow of poverty. His parents lost to a factory accident when he was just a teen. He and his little sister, Lily, had been inseparable ever since. Lily, now 22, was the light in his otherwise gray world, a budding artist with a laugh that could chase away storms. But 6 months ago, the storm had come for her, a rare, aggressive form of leukemia that drained their meager savings in weeks. The doctors at the public hospital shook their heads. The experimental treatment she needed was available only at a private clinic. Costing a fortune Marcus could never scrape together. He'd sold everything. Their tiny apartment, his tools, even the old motorcycle his father had left him. Still, it wasn't enough. Desperation led him to Elias Thornwood's door, armed with nothing but a wild promise born from sleepless nights of secret research. Elias, lounging in his custom wheelchair that cost more than most people's homes, eyed Marcus with the disdain of a man who'd seen every scam. "Make me walk again? Boy, I've spent millions on the best minds in medicine. What makes you think a grease monkey like you can do what they couldn't?" His laughter echoed again, sharp and mocking, as he gestured for security to escort Marcus out. But something in the young man's eyes, a flicker of unyielding determination, made Elias pause. "Fine," he said, amusement curling his lips. "Entertain me. What's your sister's story? And how exactly do you plan to perform this miracle?" Marcus didn't flinch. He pulled out a crumpled folder from his backpack, filled with sketches, notes, and printouts from obscure online forums. "Lily's dying," he said, his voice cracking for the first time. "She needs a stem cell transplant combined with gene therapy. It's experimental, but it works. I've seen the studies. The clinic wants $500,000 up front. Pay for it, and I'll give you something no one else can, a neural interface I've been building in my garage. It's based on old military tech I reverse engineered. It bypasses damaged nerves, lets your brain control prosthetic legs like they're your own. I've tested it on animals. Stray dogs that couldn't walk. They ran again." Elias's laughter faded into a skeptical snort. "Prove it," he challenged. Marcus nodded, pulling out a small prototype device from his bag, a tangle of wires and circuits that looked like it belonged in a junkyard. With Elias's permission, they hooked it up to a robotic arm in the mogul's lab. To Elias's astonishment, Marcus's commands made the arm move fluidly, as if alive. But Elias wasn't convinced yet. "This is parlor tricks," he scoffed. "Walking is different. And why me? There are other rich fools out there." Marcus leaned forward, his eyes locking onto Elias's. "Because you're the one who built Thornwood Tech, the company that pioneered AI prosthetics before your accident. You understand this tech, and honestly, I read about you. You're alone, like me. Lily's all I have. Save her and I'll save you from that chair." The words hung in the air, stirring something long buried in Elias, a memory of his own sister, lost to illness when he was young, fueling his drive to amass wealth as if it could shield him from pain. He agreed to a trial, fund a preliminary test for Lily, and if Marcus's device showed promise in simulations, they'd proceed. As the days turned into weeks, the story unfolded like a delicate tapestry, weaving threads of hope and heartache. Lily, pale and frail in her hospital bed, met Elias for the first time when he visited under the guise of a benefactor. She didn't know the deal her brother had struck, but her gentle spirit touched the hardened millionaire. "Thank you," she whispered, handing him a small sketch she'd drawn, a man standing tall against a sunrise, for believing in miracles. Elias, who hadn't felt warmth in years, found himself choking back tears. Meanwhile, Marcus worked tirelessly in Elias's state-of-the-art lab, granted access as part of their uneasy alliance. Challenges mounted. The device short-circuited during early tests, nearly electrocuting a volunteer. Marcus's hands shook with exhaustion, haunted by nightmares of losing Lily. "What if I fail?" he confessed to Elias one late night over whiskey. "Then we both lose," Elias replied, his voice softening. For the first time, he shared his own pain. The accident that not only took his legs but shattered his marriage, leaving him isolated in his ivory tower. The emotional depth grew as characters revealed their layers. Elias, once a ruthless businessman, began to see echoes of his younger self in Marcus, the relentless inventor tinkering against all odds. Flashbacks painted Elias's past, a boy from humble beginnings, orphaned young, who clawed his way to the top only to realize wealth couldn't mend a broken body or heart. Marcus, relatable in his quiet strength, represented the everyman fighting for family. Lily emerged as the emotional core, her optimism unwavering despite the pain. She bonded with Elias over art, teaching him to sketch as a way to express the frustration he bottled up. "Walking isn't just about legs," she told him. "It's about moving forward in life." These moments built relatable connections, showing how vulnerability bridges divides. Key challenges arose, testing their resolve. Lily's condition worsened during a treatment delay caused by bureaucratic red tape at the clinic. Marcus blamed himself, storming out in rage when Elias hesitated on full funding. "You laughed at me once. Do it again if it makes you feel big," he shouted. Elias, facing his own demons, visited Lily alone that night. Seeing her fight, he wired the full amount, but not before a heated confrontation with his board of directors, who accused him of squandering company resources on a fool's errand. On Marcus's side, the neural interface hit a wall. It worked in simulations but caused phantom pains in human trials. Sleepless nights led to a breakthrough, integrating biofeedback from Elias's own neural scans, personalizing it to his injury. The resolution came in a tense lab session, Elias strapped into the prototype legs, his heart pounding. At first, nothing. Then a twitch, a step. Tears streamed down his face as he stood, wobbly but upright, for the first time in years. But the story's true climax was the unlikely twist. As Elias took his first real walk in the penthouse garden, news broke. Lily's treatment succeeded, her cancer in remission. Yet, in a moment of raw emotion, Elias revealed a secret. He'd been funding anonymous research into neural tech for years, but fear of failure kept him from pursuing it aggressively. Marcus's unorthodox approach, born from desperation, unlocked what his teams couldn't. "You didn't just make me walk," Elias admitted, embracing Marcus like a son. "You made me live again." The brothers, now including Elias and their makeshift family, faced one final challenge: public scrutiny. Tabloids twisted the story into a millionaire's whim, but they countered with a joint press conference, sharing their journey to inspire others. The pace flowed steadily, like a river carving through stone, building tension in the early doubts, cresting in emotional confrontations, and resolving in triumphant highs. Subplots added depth. Marcus's budding romance with a nurse at Lily's hospital, who reminded him that he deserved happiness too. Elias reconciling with his ex-wife, who returned after seeing his transformation on the news. Lily's art went viral, turning her sketches into a charity foundation for rare disease research. In the end, as the three stood together on a sunlit balcony, Elias turned to Marcus. "I laughed because I was afraid to hope, but you taught me that miracles happen when we lift each other up." The story closed on an inspiring note. No matter your station, rich or poor, broken or whole, true healing comes from connection, courage, and believing in the impossible. Lives intertwined, they walked forward, literally and figuratively, proving that one act of faith can change everything. If this story moved you, smash that like button and subscribe for more tales that remind us of the human spirit's unbreakable power. What's your takeaway? Share in the comments below. We'd love to hear.